Well, hello everybody. Welcome. You join me here when I'm about to make a skirt. I've decided to design myself a gypsy inspired skirt. And it's summertime. I don't have enough cool clothes. I have some nice material I found and I have some time. And I used to do a lot of sewing. I used to make my own patterns, wedding dresses, bridesmaids dresses, etc. So this is just a real simple get back into sewing, or for you maybe starting sewing. So this is a 3-tier skirt. Each tier is slightly bigger than the one above, so it will be gathered into that. And then it's going to go into a waistband. We're not going to have a zip on this one or a button. This is going to be an elasticated waistband with some elastic through it. So it's really simple for you to have a go at. So there's 3 tiers of the skirt into the waistband. Each tier is larger, as I suggested, which is gathered and stitched into the one there. So let's start at the beginning. The way I've designed it is to make the waistband loose enough to fit over your hips or your top half, whichever one. You just measure how wide you are at your widest bit, add a couple of centimetres or a couple of inches, whatever you want. This is all flexible, just like my cooking. It's always flexible. And so however wide you want it, I'm going for a 2-inch finished measurement. So I'm going to double that and add a bit for seam allowance if I want. And then the width is the widest part of your body that it's going to pop over to get over your head or your hips, with a bit added on. Then we've got the 3 tiers. The bottom tier is longer than the first 2. So the first tier is 10 inches deep, which is, let's have a look what that is in centimetres. So we've got 10 inches or about 25 centimetres. And the first tier is 2 meters wide. The second one is 3 meters wide, and it's still the 10 inches. And the third tier is going to be deeper to give it that elegant look and flow. That's now 14 inches. So let's have a look what 14 inches are. I started off in inches looking, I've gone over to centimeters. 14 inches, so we've got like 36 centimeters. And that's 4 meters. So each one progressively gets wider. Each one, the top of the wider one, has to be gathered, which I'll show you how to do in the step-by-step video. That's gathered and stitched into that one. This one's gathered and stitched into this one. The top one's gathered and then stitched into the waistband. The waistband is folded over and elastic threaded through. Bottom is hemmed, and you've got a skirt. It's that easy. It really is. Come on, you can give it a go with me. It doesn't have to be pretty. This could just be a skirt to play in for the kids. It could be anything you want. It could be glamorous or it could be boring. It could be recycled sheets. It could be second-hand material, this is what I've been and bought. This was £3 in a charity shop in February, 8th of the 2nd, and it's a remnant. And £3 for this. There's plenty of material there. So I'm in the process here of measuring out the 10-inch length. I'm putting a marker there because this has a pile or a lay to the material. You see, if you got those 2 lays going in the wrong direction side by side, you'd really spoil the look of your skirt. So I've put a marker to say this is the top, and I know that the fabric, smooth like stroking a cat, is going to go that way. So on every piece I have a marker saying that is the way top. And I've measured it there. So I'm cutting out the strips. This is the tier 1 and tier 2. So these are the 10-inch strips that I'm cutting. I just cut along, and what I'm doing is stitching them together. Now I'm using a sewing machine, so when we're going to use a sewing machine, you don't want to bend your needles. You want to be able to just go over the edge. So I'm going to be stitching along here. So you see how the needles are in this direction? If they were this way, like this one, when I stitch along, bang, I'd hit it. But if you put them so they're slightly further away from the edge, just there, you can actually stitch here and just pop over the head of it and leave your needles in, your pins in, sorry, and your seam will be fine. So this is stage 1, the cutting out of the tiers, the stitching of those together, and then we're going to measure them out into their lengths, 2 meters and 3 meters, and then make them into a circle or a hoop, like a hula hoop. So we're going to seam both ends, the end here and the end, the end here and the end here. will be stitched together, so that will be one loop, a second loop, and a third hoop. Each hoop will be then gathered in to the top one. So this is part 1, just to show you how to cut the material. Part 2 will show you the stitching, and we'll just keep going. I haven't got a pause button on this camera, hence it's going to be in little parts. So I'll carry on stitching. Please like, subscribe and comment, and look out for the next part of the skirt. I really hope it works out well. Come and see what happens. Bye bye.